Why Vinicius Júnior to Arsenal should terrify the Premier League. A two-time Champions League winner, a player who scored in both Champions League final triumphs.
This is Vinicius Júnior, white goal.
One of the most ruthless wingers in world football.
Vinicius Júnior, still Vinicius, going to try a shot. What a goal! Vinicius Júnior.
They want one of the best left wingers in world football. Why not just go for the best left winger in world football?
Now imagine him wearing an Arsenal shirt. A year ago, that would have sounded ridiculous. Today, it doesn't. Real Madrid's contract talks with Vinicius Júnior have stalled. Arsenal's interest is real.
Premier League champions Arsenal are exploring a sensational deal to sign Vinicius Júnior from Real Madrid.
And if this move somehow happens, it won't just be the biggest transfer of the summer, it could completely change the balance of power in English football.
That Arsenal might be signing Vinicius Júnior, ambition at a completely different level. I think this would be one of the biggest signings in Premier League history, by the way.
Because here's the scary part. Premier League defences already struggle to stop Bukayo Saka. So what happens when they have to stop Vinicius Júnior on one side and Saka on the other? By the end of this video, you'll understand why this isn't just another transfer rumour, it's a nightmare scenario for the rest of the league.
And I hope it doesn't happen, and I hope it falls through because, wow. How on earth would we stop that?
Vinícius is heading into the final year of his deal. It runs out in June 2027, and talks over a new one have been stuck for 2 years now. 2 years of back and forth, meetings, offers, and still no signature. The holdup comes down to money. Vinícius wants a package that puts him at the very top of Real Madrid's wage structure, in the same range as Kylian Mbappe. Madrid have offered him more than he's currently on, but nowhere near what he's asking for, and that gap hasn't moved much in 2 years of talking.
Madrid want to keep Vinny, but are not prepared to give him the salary that he's asking for. Vinny wants first-team football and the salary he's demanding. There is a chance that they don't come to a resolution on this.
Part of the problem is where Vinícius now sits inside that dressing room. Mbappe is the main focal point of the attack. Bellingham runs the midfield. Vinícius, the guy who used to be the main character at the Bernabeu, many believe has slipped to third in a hierarchy he once looked built to lead.
Arsenal are the only possible destination for Vinny Jr. this summer, who's not happy playing with Mbappe. He plays better without Mbappe, Mbappe plays better without Vinny. They don't play well together, he wants to be the main man.
That slide showed up in public last season too. During a Clásico, Xabi Alonso substituted him, and Vinícius stormed off the pitch, clearly unhappy, complaining afterward that it's always him getting pulled.
But I thought there were pretty ugly scenes yesterday towards the end of the Clásico. 18 minutes to go, he was substituted, and you could see clearly how annoyed he was. And as he was walking towards his head coach, he said, me, always me. I'm leaving the team. It's better that I go.
Not exactly the reaction of a guy who feels secure in his spot. And now, look at what Madrid are doing in the transfer market. They're chasing Rodri.
But Real Madrid at the same time want to sign Rodri. A big hitter needs to leave Real Madrid, and that is going to be Vinny. It's not going to be Júnior or Mbappe, because Jose loves both of them. I'm not saying Jose doesn't love Vinny, but he's only got a year left on his contract. This really does make things interesting.
They're pushing hard for Yan Diamonde. That signing points towards a squad being built for life without Vinícius, not around him.
If they sign Diamonde as looks likely, how do the two fit into the same team? And I think what's really interesting here, and Ben Jacobs, I think, has mentioned this a couple of times, they've got the same agent, Vinícius Júnior and Yan Diamonde. So would his agency take Diamonde to Real Madrid knowing that he's going to compete with Vinícius Júnior? I don't think Vinícius Júnior to Arsenal is as fanciful as maybe it first appeared.
Here's the part that makes this summer different from the last 2 years of stalling. Madrid will not let him walk away for free. They can't afford to.
Real Madrid do not want to lose Vinícius Júnior on a free. Remember, he could just stay at the club, ride it out, and then at the end of the season, which is only, end of next season, he can just turn around and walk away for absolutely nothing.
So this summer is the one real chance to cash in on him, get a fee before he's able to negotiate with clubs outside Spain starting in January, and walk out the door for nothing next summer. Which brings up the obvious question. If Madrid do decide to sell, where does he actually go? PSG already have too many attackers. Bayern are tied up elsewhere. Italian clubs simply can't get near his wages. That leaves the Premier League. And once you rule out the clubs that can't offer Champions League football or can't afford him, there's really only one team left standing, with the profile to actually get this done. David Ornstein broke the story, and his wording matters here. Arsenal are exploring a move for Vinícius. The interest has been approved at every level of the club, from the board down to Mikel Arteta himself.
So here it is, David Ornstein's most liked tweet of all time. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it there on the screen. Arsenal exploring move to sign Vinicius Júnior from Real Madrid. AFC interest is early stage. Clubs not yet in talks, but idea approved at all levels. Much rests on contract processes, no breakthrough yet. And Real Madrid do not want free exits. Obviously got 1 year left.
No formal talks with Real Madrid yet, no bid submitted. But when a journalist with Ornstein's track record uses the word approved, that's not filler. That's a club telling you they're serious. So why Arsenal specifically? Start ruling out the competition. Chelsea have spent big this window, but they can't offer Champions League football, and Vinícius isn't walking away from Real Madrid to play in the Conference League or wherever Chelsea end up. Bayern Munich are already stretched thin trying to keep hold of Michael Olise and sort out Harry Kane's new deal. There isn't room in that budget for a winger on Vinícius's money. Italian clubs were never in this conversation. Not one of them can get near his wages, and everybody knows it. And Barcelona? Real Madrid would rather let him rot on the bench than send him to their biggest rival. That deal was never happening, no matter what anyone speculates. That leaves Manchester City, and even that one doesn't hold up the way it would have 5 years ago. Pep Guardiola is gone. Rodri looks like he's on his way out too. Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne have already left. The project that used to be the most attractive destination in England doesn't have that same pull anymore. Ask yourself honestly, is Enzo Maresca the kind of name that convinces a two-time Champions League winner to walk through the door? Probably not. Arsenal, on the other hand, just won the Premier League. They also went the distance in the Champions League final, only losing on penalties. That's not a rebuilding project asking someone to take a risk. That's proof. The club has already arrived at the level Vinícius would want to play at.
He sees a team that can match his ambitions, because obviously he's coming from Real Madrid where, listen, it's standard that they're going for all the biggest prizes every year. That might tempt him to come, maybe another Brazilian as well.
Then there's the money, and this is where it stops just being a nice story and starts being a real transfer. Arsenal are pulling in record revenue from consistent Champions League football 3 years running now.
The thing is, Arsenal can afford it. Arsenal are, like Man City, sustainably guaranteed Champions League football every year and have had it for the last 3. So they're making a huge amount of money at United. So sorry, at Arsenal, and that means that you can go and spend big money.
On top of that, there's room to move players out. Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus both sit on wages that, if freed up, would cover a serious chunk of what Vinícius would cost per week. Arsenal have clearly done the math here, and the math works.
But Arsenal are going big. Arsenal are willing to make a massive offer to Vinícius Júnior to convince him, to pay him, to compensate him for committing to Arsenal Football Club.
Think about where this club was not too long ago. Arsenal used to be the team that watched Manchester City and Real Madrid pick off their best talent. Now they're the ones doing the picking. That's the story underneath the story. It's not just about one signing, it's about what it says regarding how far this club has actually travelled.
And they've now put themselves in a position where they can attract the Bruno Guimaraes, they can attract the Vinícius Júniors. As much as I hate to say this, but pretty much any player in the world is going to want to go to Arsenal because they're the best team in the best league in the world.
But showing interest is the easy part.
Mikel Arteta and Berta, huge fans of Vinícius Júnior, and because he's got that year left, it does mean that there is a possibility on the table where it could be done.
Getting Vinícius into this Arsenal team and making it work on the pitch, that's a completely different problem to solve.
When you land a player like Vinícius Júnior, you kind of have to change your team a lot, to suit him. I watched him for Real Madrid last year. He didn't really run back on defence much, he just kind of would stay forward and then waiting for the counter attack, which obviously is not necessarily fits what Arsenal do.
Here's what defences currently do against Arsenal. They load up on Saka, 2 defenders, sometimes 3 bodies shifting his way, daring whoever plays on the other side, usually Martinelli or Trossard, to beat them alone. It's worked, mostly, because teams can live with getting beaten by the weaker side once or twice a game. Now put Vinícius on that other flank, the whole defensive plan falls apart in an instant.
What do I think this signing would mean for Arsenal in the Premier League? I mean, Arsenal are already a very good team. If you put Vinícius Júnior on the left wing, I think Trossard's done decent, Martinelli puts a shift in, but you are suddenly putting one of the world's best players on a left wing, which is one of the few areas in Arsenal that you can actually improve it and take the team potentially to another level.
There is no more weak side to sag toward. You can't double up on Saka anymore, because now the guy on the other wing might just cut inside and finish it himself. And this isn't speculation about potential. Look at the numbers. Vinícius has been directly involved in 30-plus goal contributions in 5 straight seasons at Real Madrid, including years where the team won nothing. That's not a hot streak. That's 5 years of pure consistency at the highest level in Europe. His dribbling stats put him in the top bracket of wingers anywhere in the world. Nearly 3 successful dribbles every 90 minutes. That's not just beating a man for the sake of it. Those are dribbles that end in a shot or set one up for a teammate. Think about what that does for the rest of Arsenal's attack. Kai Havertz and Victor Gyökeres suddenly get more room to work with, because defenders can no longer commit extra numbers to one side of the pitch. When both flanks carry real threat, the centre becomes easier to exploit too. There's also the counter-attacking piece, something Arsenal have genuinely lacked against teams that sit deep and frustrate them. Vinícius thrives in transition. Give him a yard of space in behind, and he's gone. And that's exactly the kind of outlet Arsenal have missed in low-block games. Every club still standing in the title race would suddenly be facing a front line built around 2 match winners instead of 1. Not a good winger and a great one. 2 players who can single-handedly decide a European night on their own. The stakes here are plain enough. The fee could pass £100 million.
It's most likely going to cost you well over £100 million still to get it done.
The wages alone will break whatever pay structure Arsenal currently run. And Real Madrid, whatever their contract mess with Vinícius looks like right now, are not going to make this easy for anyone.